In the beginning, the universe began, with stars, planets, and so much more. But all these objects became for one single purpose: to prepare the way for the greatest creation of all time, humankind.
That doesn't really hold, to the extent that it leaves so many questions than answers. It does attempt to answer a question that and then in the process raises too many unanswered questions.
The world we live in feels normal and ordinary. It feels like it's just how humans exist and always existed. But trust me, it's not. Never before have we humans lived in a world as so sophisticated and engineered to our needs as today, giving us the luxury to forget about ourselves and not worry about survival, food, shelter, and security. All this is more or less taken for granted. We are the designers, but also the designed. We invented the tools, and the tools invented us. Man and fire, man and medicine, man and transport. Innovations that change the world and humanity. But we are a special few from all the 99% of the human history. Life was completely different, and there's no such thing, none, as just one human story. This is the greatest story to be told. It's bigger than science. It's bigger than history. This is the origins.
That's a really complex question for me because I'm torn between the idea of religion and science. But what I've thought about mostly is the idea that there was a big bang, and then eventually humans evolved from monkeys. So according maybe to the science that we were taught in high school and in primary, the idea of having a Homo habilis, Homo sapien, Homo erectus, that's the same idea that I've had in my head. So to me, the early man is our ancestors, which are monkeys.
As a devoted Muslim, there's only one theory that I believe in that makes sense to me, and I think it's the absolute truth. And there's no other theory that can explain where this whole mankind thing has come from. Believe that mankind was created by Allah, and it's in the Quran. And there's nothing stronger than that. No other theory can be used to explain it.
Of course, once we are to start about thinking about where the man originated from, we have that kind of perspective that first we need to know that we came from somewhere. And the moment we know that we came from somewhere, we need to look at since God started creating the earth, God started creating the other creatures and all that. And by looking from where the man originated from, is that we all know, in all the books that have been revealed, know that God started by creating Adam. And when God started by creating Adam, meaning that he started by creating him from the dust. And this is about all the creatures, even the Hindu creatures, the Quran, Christianity and all that. All the books that are there, they are clearly stated that there must be the origin that Adam came from, and that was from the dust. And when he created Adam from the dust, then as the perspective of, from the Quran, the way it is normally stated that after creating Adam, Eve was then created from the rib of a man who is Adam. So the first man to be created was Adam. Then from Adam, as the Quran stated that Eve came from Adam, from the ribs. Then from the ribs, then God came by saying that from the two of them I started creating, I started producing men and women from there.
I think of the origin of man. For me, I think about creation. So that's what I think about. Just think about the origin, then I think about creation.
Honestly, the Darwin theory makes more sense because when you look at religion, there are about 10,000 religions across the world. So trying to understand and trying to agree on one specific religion doesn't make sense to me. I mean, according to the Bible or according to the Quran, there was Adam and there was Eve. Eventually they had 2 kids. But the story somehow ends there because we don't understand how the 2 kids had more children who multiplied and continue multiplied until the number of human beings that are here in the country. So the Darwin theory kind of makes sense. As when you look at it point by point, it makes more sense because there's a clear evolution. There's a clear evolution from monkeys to human beings, and also the evolution continues because we've able to see some appendages in the bodies, some appendages that are no longer existed and are no longer needed in our bodies. So the evolution theory makes more sense.
Allah says in the Quran, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ, that we have not created mankind and the jinns and the insis, mankind and Satan, except for them to worship us. So that creation part is a proof that the creation theory is the only theory that will make sense, that explains where we came from as human beings.
I think for me the story of evolution is kind of a science taken too far, science taken beyond principles. And when you think about religion doesn't negate science. It actually agrees on science, but science that goes beyond the principles. Because if you think about evolution theory, and this we say we are evolving, then I think we should continue to evolve. And then you see, then what you talk about, if man evolved, what about the trees? What about the oceans and everything? That seem to, so because what did they develop from? If you say the man evolved.
All these theories, they are not in the correct perspective. They are not in the correct beliefs. Because by looking in many ways, first is that even when Adam was created, he was given conditions. And we all know, once he was coming from dust, there's no way he could be transferred to another creature. Leave alone something like a mule that is coming from a donkey or maybe for something like that. But when it comes to the creation itself, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala stated, I created man from dust. So there's a big lesson when you hear someone telling you that you are created from dust. And that's why today when someone is buried, a lot of pastors, a lot of imams, a lot of any Islamic religious da'i, you'll get him saying that, remember you guys, you are created from soil you are created from dust, and you'll be taken back to dust.
There is human evolution. Although we humans differ considerably from apes, genetically we are closest to them of all hominoids. As far as our genetic composition is concerned, we share 98.4% of our genetic material with chimpanzees, while gorillas are only 2.3% different from us genetically. One of the earliest known humans, the Homo habilis, who is known as the handyman, lived in Eastern and Southern Africa between 2.4 and 1.4 million years ago. Others include the Homo rudolfensis, who lived in Eastern Africa between 1.9 and 1.8 million years ago and was found in East Rudolph of Kenya. Homo erectus, who is known as the upright man, lived around 1.89 to 110,000 years ago and ranged from Southern Africa to modern-day China and Indonesia.
And that, folks, is the origin of human beings.